What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we are going to be looking at XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, as well as the S&P 500. There's definitely a lot of stuff to talk about in today's video. I'm going to try not to make it go as long as yesterday, but it might be a couple of minutes. We might go to the 15-minute mark. We'll see what exactly happens here. But there's a lot of stuff we do have to talk about, and today is very, very, very important for the future of cryptocurrency as well as the stock market. As you guys can tell, the S&P 500, which is pretty much a basis of how the economy is going to be doing to, is pretty much at its bottom support here. This is and I don't know how to really make this known, that this is a very, very, very important support level for the stock market. If we see, today, tomorrow, anytime in the near future, break us below this purple band here, this is a major sign that we are going to be seeing a major dump in the price of the stock market, which is ultimately going to influence cryptocurrency, and we're going to see cryptos dump to the downside too. So it pretty much is like how the groundhog, and if the groundhog sees its shadow, will it predict more winter? Will it predict spring to come sooner? That's the same thing with what's happening here. As you guys can see, in the past we had February lows, March lows, basically saying this is the bottom. The last time we were at that was also back in May and June of 2021 here, but we've now managed to consolidate all the way back down, dump and correct all the way back down, becoming oversold on the daily, retesting oversold on the daily here, and we have to see how exactly we play out. Yesterday shows you the severity and how real this is, that we saw major uncertainty here. We tested the support, we broke above here, and literally did not do anything. We opened where we closed, and we saw zero movement, practically no movement in yesterday's candle. Hopefully today we can see that rebound off here. I would really like to see prices head us up and not break us through here, but it's definitely still a huge possibility. The reason this is so important is because, very similar to the groundhog, is if we break below here, the groundhog inevitably sees its shadow, and we're going to expect to see more a crypto bear market and more stock winter bear market as well, if that makes sense to you guys. However, if we don't see a shadow and prices reverse off here, then we can expect to see a smaller recovery, at least not breaking us below this major support level. And I do have an article pulled up by CNBC here, which talks about how the chart suggests near-term market pain may be over, but don't expect a big rally, which is 100% truth, and it makes very much so sense, which I'll talk about with you guys in a second. And the reason we talk about this stuff is because of how directly correlated it is with cryptocurrency. The second, this whole month, or honestly this whole year, we've seen bear market since January here, bear market. And then since then, we've seen since March, end of March here, all of April be a bearish correction to the downside here. All of April as well, literally this is the end of April, has been a downtrend and a correction as well within cryptocurrency. So we're seeing a very similar pattern here. Now jumping to XRP's weekly charts, which you can see we'll talk about in a second here, we have closed below here. So it is important that we discuss where exactly crypto and XRP are going to be moving to, as well as Ethereum, which is in a descending fractal, Bitcoin, which could be in a descending fractal here. Lots of information to talk about. Regardless, today's video is brought to us once again by CryptoBots. Hopefully you guys are familiar by CryptoBots. They're a play-to-earn game that's obviously made fun, as you can see here. First economic-centered game, CryptoBots is a play-to-earn game that merges two genres, a collectible RPG and space grand strategy. And CryptoBots' dev team is focused on two main things: sustainable play-to-earn economy and addictive gameplay mechanics. Also, what's really cool is CryptoBots also offers NFTs like in-game, inside the game here, which is also cool. But their NFT collection on OpenSea has actually, and they have two, their first one, the classic collection, as well as their new one, are doing really well. And they have a very high price for it, which is actually pretty crazy to see a successful NFT project. There's definitely few and far between, but yeah, it's definitely cool. We'll talk more about this at the end of today's video, and I also have linked them down in the description below if you'd like to check them out earlier. Well, with that being said, definitely make sure to smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and let's dive into today's episode. So I don't really know where to begin, whether we talk about cryptocurrencies or the stock market. I feel they're both extremely important to how the market is affected here. I want to briefly go over, I guess, this article really quickly, show you the stock market, and then we'll talk about cryptocurrencies. So do bear with as this is very important for not only the future of cryptocurrency, but obviously how we'll go about making trades within crypto. So definitely stay tuned. Now, as you guys can see, the chart suggests near-term market pain may be over, which is true. And the reason he suggests this is because cryptocurrency like XRP, and I'll show you guys this, and I know he's talking about the stock market, but cryptocurrencies like XRP are oversold right now on the daily charts. Ethereum, very close to being oversold. Bitcoin, very close to being oversold, and the S&P 500 is retesting the bottom and retesting not only a major price floor, but its oversold level here as well. So they are suggesting, and the charts are suggesting, it possible bottom support is in. And if it holds, and you can see where he's drawn it here, if this holds, I don't expect to see a beautiful bull run recovery because it's not going to happen with the Fed's increasing rates here, but we would see consolidation, and we won't, at least we won't be heading lower. This is a very strong support for the S&P that hopefully we stay above, and this would allow us to potentially recover slightly, consolidate, slightly, not see a major bull run. If this does decide to hold, and I have actually put more money into the stock market, I'm getting ready to buy in. I haven't bought positions, but I have funded my brokerage account, getting ready for that run to happen here. If we, if the markets break below here, I will be buying in. If we consolidate up, we slowly see a run, then I might buy in between this level here. So we'll see what happens here. But he basically talks about that we're currently at the heart of earnings season. Garner believes declining markets often find support from quarterly earnings, especially when the seasonal trends are on your side, which they are supposed to be now, which is interesting. Commodity prices have also moderated, and the bond market showed some signs of stability. Lots of things are showing signs of stability. He says what the VIX directly measures is how urgently traders are buying put options and the S&P 500 to hedge their positions. Because the VIX and the S&P tend to move in opposite directions, you can expect a peak in the volatility index, the VIX, and is good news for the stock market. So there's a lot of things to see. The only worrisome thing, and I don't want to go too long in today's video about this, is you could see the S&P 500 on the daily has a beautiful, ascending fractal. And it'll look a little bit clearer on the weekly charts for you guys to see that we have since the start of 08-09 here, an uptrend ascending fractal here. We had the big bearish dump during the pandemic in 2020 here in March, and then since then we've managed to recover the COVID rally, and we've broken above the ascending fractal here. So realistically, if things didn't see a beautiful run to the upside here, massive parabolic breakout here, and we weren't doing that, ideally we would be a little bit farther down around this area here, not as high as we are, which is interesting. They talk about that too. You can see here that he says the index has pulled back significantly over the last 5 months, but the current correction is still small compared to the 20-month long rally from March of 2020. And that's the truth. Since this 2020 rally here, we're up much higher than we anticipated we were going to be, the normal market trajectory. And he says, let's put it this way. From the bottom of 09 to the peak of 2020, the NASDAQ 100 has rallied 7,000 points. If the index had stuck to its old uptrend, where would it be? Garner points that it would be around 8,000, which is true, right around here, inside this movement here. Not at 13,000 as high as we are currently. While she doesn't expect to see sell-off of that magnitude, and I don't think it's possible to see that sell-off, it isn't something to rule out either, which is also very, very, very much true. So we'll see how these markets do trend. This is a very good article to read. It's on, just literally Google this title if you're interested. But enough about that. I do want to talk about cryptocurrencies. Sorry, but I think it's very important that we talk about both here on the channel. With XRP here, we're bottoming off on a lot of these cryptos too. And I do feel like the correlation is there. And, depending on how the S&P opens today, depending on how we close today, depending on how we trade today, if the S&P 500 today sees a nice reversal off here, then I could very much assume XRP and the major cryptocurrencies are going to see a reversal off here too. It's expected to see XRP bounce upwards. It definitely is. And I'm hoping we don't break through these supports. I'm hoping this is the lowest we go to. It's very possible we could see XRP. I do think rock bottom is closer to 58 cents here, being the lowest point it moves down to. It could very well do something like that. That's what we're expecting here, as it's done it every single time. Like every time we break through this moving average here, or this, the resistance up at this level here, the support, we typically do tend to drop to this bottom support level here. So I do think ideally we are headed lower for XRP, but maybe some short-term consolidation. Maybe we close as we are right now. You can see here we've had, couple weeks where we close at this level here, maybe consolidate, and then maybe next week we continue the drop here. But I do believe hopefully this is the bottom, and then we can expect to see markets dip higher or swing higher. I don't think, I'd be very shocked if we break through here. the groundhog for XRP revolves around this level here. If we break through this, groundhog's going to see its shadow, and we're going to see a very bad, crypto winter. Vice versa, if it bounces off here, we should be able to see a pretty substantial recovery. Not necessarily an all-time high. I don't think it's going to be an all-time high, but definitely a healthy consolidation, a breakout pattern out of there, and we'll consolidate sideways. But as you guys can see, we have been in a short position for the long term on XRP. We expect to see prices swing down to 59 cents here. We're waiting on most of our Patreon groups, which you guys should definitely check out, to buy into these cryptocurrencies. We're not sure where these markets are going to be moving to yet. But long term, we do believe, short term, the next couple of weeks here, we do believe we are going to be pulling down to 59 cents. Whether that means we're going to see a hiccup like this and then pull down is possible. And that's why we haven't, called a direct trade, because this could sell you out, and we don't want that to happen here. So that's pretty much where I've been dealing with. And that's why I haven't been buying a trade. We don't want it to sell out because we could get, pump faked. That's why I've been waiting to make, big profitable trades here, conservative trades. As for Ethereum, also within a descending fractal here, it'll be interesting. These are typically bullish biased, and they typically do have a bottom, and then we see the prices break. It's very possible. There is a bearish cross forming now on Ethereum's moving average here, but we have consolidated. We've rallied all the way back up to the same resistance, which is quite peculiar here, but this typically calls for rejection, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. This typically calls for a dump. XRP might see that dump too. I don't know. It's expected to see a lower pullback. Bitcoin as well, we've drawn on a descending fractal. We're at an interesting level right here, and then we'll wrap up today's video with you guys. But as you guys can see, this is a very strong resistance. Not only have we come back up to retest, not only this green band that's a resistance here, but the uptrend in purple here that we typically rebound off of and head higher. Not to say that that's going to happen now, but let's see how this plays out here, because if we get rejected off this, then that means we are definitely 100% in this descending fractal here, and we probably are going to be pulling back down to $30,000. But if we manage to get above and through, we should be able to continue this uptrend of consolidation here. So things are in the air. We just need, the markets to play out, and then we'll get a decision. Otherwise, I do want to talk more about CryptoBots with you. I want to give a huge shout out to CryptoBots for sponsoring today's episode. As with all cryptocurrency projects, please do your own research and never invest anything you can't afford to lose. So guys, CryptoBots is an RPG mobile game focused on building a truly sustainable and very rich in-game cryptocurrency economy with NFTs of CryptoBots. Now, the CryptoBots NFT collection was first launched back in 2017 and is among 25 of the very first collections of NFTs ever. Now, it is also one of the first collections trading on OpenSea, and the original game itself is the first ever play-to-earn game, though it wasn't called play-to-earn at the time. Now, CryptoBots offers players the ability to collect and even trade unique collectibles on the Ethereum blockchain, and the original collection of CryptoBots are now renamed to Classic CryptoBots and are made totally decentralized. Now, the original game was suspended back in 2019 and is now rebuilt as a much bigger world around CryptoBots and the economy. Now, the team behind CryptoBots is also very experienced, and the game is also supported by the Playneta game studio that has been making mobile games since 2015. Now, Playneta has more than 100 million downloads on both Android and the Apple App Store, and is quite successful as a mobile game studio. Now, the developers of CryptoBots are focusing on building a sustainable in-game economy that uses traditional mobile game mechanics, as well as to balance the spending and earnings of the players. Now, the main idea is to make a much bigger economy and metagame to ensure more ways to spend the money in the game and make it interesting not only for earning, but by also the gameplay itself. Now, the game is meant to be play and earn, not play to earn. And in the journey so far, CryptoBots has acquired quite a strong community with more than 30,000 on Discord and more than 10,000 on Twitter that are very active discussing the game and the new features. Also, guys, in January this year, the team actually conducted a sale of 10,000 new CryptoBots called the Genesis CryptoBots, and it was a very successful sale with a total revenue of 1,000 Ethereum. Now, CryptoBots also decided to reward its early supporters with its governance tokens paid as reward for staking the bots. Now, at this point, almost 90% of all bots are staked now, and the other option to acquire CryptoBots is obviously to get whitelisted for the testnet. Now, the team is claiming it will have only 3,000 players on testnet in April and will give away 100 Ethereum in NFTs. Now, the 3,000 players will be given free CryptoBots for the testnet game only, and will compete for the other prizes. Now, one of the main features of the upcoming game will be the possibility to create in-game businesses like repairing or manufacturing bots, mining, resources, etc. Now, the business will require a plot of land to put the actual company on, with lands being just as scarce as in real life. Now, the team has also decided to distribute the lands between the early supporters of the game, aka the testnet players. So guys, to get to the testnet, there will be 3 options. First, you have to register for the testnet whitelist and wait for its launch. And prior to the launch, there will be a raffle in which 1,000 players will get their whitelist to enter the game. Now, second, there will be 1,000 free guaranteed slots for active supporters. And the third option is to get on the 1,000 guaranteed slots. And then if you own a team of Genesis CryptoBots prior to the game launch. And guys, lastly, there are still a few available on OpenSea. And also, guys, keep in mind the team is also planning to launch 3D metaverse-ready avatars. So guys, for more information about CryptoBots or to join their testnet, make sure to check out the links in the description of today's video. Otherwise, huge shout out to CryptoBots for sponsoring today's episode. As always, make sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.